Good evening. The interesting fad of 2020 was the emergence of Myers-Briggs type indicator in Korea. Koreans are really attracted. Of course, I'm saying, as a general, as a cultural thing, if you're a Korean and you don't care any for these, I understand. I'm like that myself. It's just a general fad kind of thing. But the Myers Briggs type indicator personality test basically replaced the now disproven blood type as a personality indicator. Of course, in the States, we don't really believe MBTI is as effective by itself anymore. But any fad that's in the States um, catch in Korea in about 5 years. So look back in maybe like 2010s, the mid 2010s, we were pretty big on it, and now the Koreans are catching it. So that's why it's been so popular in Korea in the year 2020. Um, so what MBTI is it's a theory that a person is either extroverted, meaning they like to be outside, or introverted, they like to stay inside the home, or and and they are sensing, meaning they like to have a feel for something as opposed to intuition, which is, I think, they just go with it. Uh, see, these feel the same to me. I took them a lot of times because a lot of companies use these as a job interview tool, but they feel the same. Um, Thinking and feeling are supposed to be another completely opposite trait, and the last pair is judging and perceiving. And these four categories make 16 different, was it 16? 8, 16, yeah, 16 different personality types. So that's interesting, right? They think people are 16 different types. Um, for your information, I scored ISFP. It's just fun, these things you don't take seriously. Uh, as it should, I think human beings are very complex creatures, and a lot of times these psychology theories get disproven as soon as a few years later. So I think when it comes to psychology tests, it's important to take as many varied approach as you can. Um, Interesting way to approach somebody's personality is Dungeons and Dragons role playing approach where There's the nine um, lawless and uh, I think freedom. I don't really know the name of that thing, but you're either lawful, neutral, or unlawful, and then chaotic, neutral, or good. I think that's how it goes. That one's an interesting one. Um, that one, believe it or not, I still use it to this day. I think a lot of people fall in that category. Um, there's also something called the caliper profile, predictive index behavioral assessment, and dominance, influence, steadfastness, cons- conscientiousness. That's wrong. That's a long word. Situational judgment test. So that's called the Big Five. Big Five. Just again, you don't take these things as a mean to prejudge somebody. I think you talk to somebody and find out what they're exactly like. Because my sister and I lived basically same life until we were middle school when we got to the States, and then everything was completely different. So, even if your upbringing is the same, you could have a completely different personality. So, it is what it is. So, I thought that was interesting.